Hello, everybody, and welcome to this week's edition of Parashat Pointers. This week's message is dedicated by Osher Douek in honor of the YDE Rabbis for all their hard work and for being the greatest role models for our children. Also dedicated by Alan Maleh in honor of his wife. Thank you so much. The pasuk says, "Vayisai na vayar et Binyamin, ahiv ben imo, vayomer hazeh achichem hakaton asher amartem elai, vayomer Elohim yechancha beni." What a pasuk. Yosef sees Binyamin. He hasn't seen him. He never saw him, never met him. Finally meets his little brother. And he says, is this the younger brother that you discussed till now? He says, wow, unbelievable. And he says the following words, Vayomer Elohim yechancha beni. Hashem should give you grace. Beautiful. Rashi over here points out that previously when Esav met up with Yaakov and he saw all his children, he said, who are all these children? And Yaakov Avinu said, these are the children that Hashem graced me with. Hashem, and there when he said that, it gave a blessing of grace, of hen, to his children. But Binyamin was not there. So Yosef, with tremendous sensitivity, said, I feel so bad. Binyamin never got that blessing for hen. Let me give it to him now. Unbelievable. That could be a whole discussion on its own. But I want to focus a little bit for a moment. What is chen? What is grace? What is that? What is chen? Some people have it, some people don't. What is it? And I looked in a beautiful book by the Osher Rebbe. The Osher Rebbe has this book, Avodat HaAvodah. Unbelievable sefer that my son bought for me. I actually once got a blessing from the Osher Rebbe. I made a wrong turn going to Montreal, and I was up there all the way up in Canada. He was a big tzaddik, zecher tzaddik livracha. And what he explains, the Osher Rebbe, whose name was Harav Meshulam Faish Halevi Lowy, big tzaddik. There's actually a book that just went out about him. He explains it so beautifully. If you look at the word chen, right, and v'yechencha, it's very closely related to Hanukkah. It's the same thing. And he says that if you want to understand where the grace of a Jew is, where that chen is, you gotta look at those Hanukkah lights. You gotta look at the menorah. You gotta look at that flame. And the truth of the matter is, he says, that grace and that chen is regenerated every year on Hanukkah. It's that same grace that Yaakov Avinu gave his children, that Yosef gave Binyamin. That's what it is. What is it? He says very beautifully. There's a spiritual side in us. There's a spiritual flame inside of us. We have a soul. It's actually a piece of God. When you see people, when you see a person, you know how you love them? You look at them and say, you know what? Hashem made this person. And there's that flame of spirituality. There's that piece of Hashem in him. How could I not love him? How could I not love him? How could he not have grace in my eyes? And that's what chen is. Chen is that little piece of Hashem in every one of us. You look and say, wow, that's unbelievable. And when you connect to that, it's unbelievable. You have a tremendous love for every Jew. When a person, says the Osher Rebbe, lights his spiritual self, and he diminishes all his physical desires, and he puts down all the things, and all those bad traits that he might have, that anger, the upsetness, whatever it might be, and now he lights himself up, and he's lit up, like when you see a gadol, you see a light, that's when the chen comes out. Sometimes a person doesn't have chen because he's covered. His real light is covered with all these layers of things that he's not doing right. But that doesn't mean that the chen's not underneath there. In fact, why were the Hashmonaim zoche on Hanukkah to the great miracles? Is because they lit that light. They had that chen in Hashem's eyes. That's why we talk about the miracle of the menorah more than anything else, because it represents the fact that they said this spiritual life is what we care about. That's our grace. That's our chen, not our physical beauty like when the Greeks wanted to espouse. It goes even further. There's a Gemara in Masechet Berachot, and over there the Gemara says in Daf Lamed Bet Amud Aleph that if not for the evil inclination, we'd be in big trouble. It really saves us. In fact, there's 3 Pesukim that the Gemara over there in Masechet Berachot says it saves the Jewish people. And Rabbi Hamad, the son of Rabbi Hanina, said that there's these 3 Pesukim. One of them is that Asher Hare'oti, those who I have dealt in wickedness, meaning I sent the Yetzer Hara to these people. That's why they fell. Another one says, behold, they're like clay in the potter's hands. So you are in my hand, meaning the Yetzer Hara just gets us like a clay. Another pasuk says, and I will give you a new heart and a new spirit. I'll place within you. And I'm going to remove a heart of stone, meaning the reason why you're acting the way you are is because there's something called the Yetzer Hara that's stopping you from being the real great person that you are and having that spiritual light. Hashem recognizes the fact that we're good and our essence intrinsically, and that there's a beautiful flame inside every one of us, and that there's other reasons, outside things that stop us from doing that. As parents, we're given these beautiful children. What a gift. And sometimes when they're entrusted to us, we see they act angrily. They don't speak nicely. They do things that, like, why is he doing that? Why is he acting like that? He's so bad. No. He's not bad. He might be acting bad. He might be doing certain things that are not right. But he's good. He's great. He's pure. He's perfect. He's a piece of Hashem. There's chen, and you got to find that in your child. You got to see the good in him. You got to find the good. We talk about when you're dealing with people, you got to find the nikudat tova, that good point in a person, and it makes you love them. If you got to do it with other people, of course you got to do it with your child. Don't ever tell them they're not good. You say, well, I don't like what you're doing. Maybe you're not doing the right thing. Maybe you're falling. Maybe you're not understanding. This is beneath you. You're so good. You're so perfect. You have a beautiful neshama. How could you do such a thing? That's not you. I know who the real you is. They need to hear that. That's called unconditional love. I once saw somebody do something unbelievable. They took a $100 bill and they started to crumble the $100 bill. Crumble the $100 bills. It's still worth $100. Yeah. Dirty it is. It always keeps its value no matter how many times you step on it and crumble it. But I want to add something new. If you rip it, it loses its value. If you rip the child, if you destroy him and say, you're no good, yeah, it does lose its value. They don't see the value that they have anymore. But if you tell your kid, you got a little dirty, we got to clean you up a little bit, but you're good, it's a very different story. Just want to end with a quick little story about this great Rabbi Zatzal, the Osher Douek. And what he says, one of the stories is, they asked him the following question: what is the central avodah, the focus of your life? What is your service? What do you do? And he says, and they would ask him, what's your main trait of life? He didn't want to answer, and all of a sudden he said, only through loving one's fellow Jew. That's what I do. Everything else is an outgrowth of like that. And we know that's what the Torah says, V'ahavta l'recha kamocha. So, what we need to understand is, if we have to do it with other people, of course we got to do it with our children. See the good. Love them. Of course you got to tell them to do something wrong. What they did was wrong. But they're good. There's that light. That's the light of Hanukkah. That's the light of the menorah. That's that spiritual light. That's the chen. We should all see the chen in our children, and Bezat Hashem, they'll see it in their children. We'll all be able to greet the Mashiach. Amen. Shabbat Shalom.